All right, that does it for us. That's Nightly News for this Monday. I'm Tom Yamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night.
Hi. Going for a
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Guam continuing to step up, local groups coming together to send water to the CNMI after Super Typhoon Senlaku. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with the story coming up.
Faith, togetherness, and fellowship. Coming up tonight on Primetime, learn about how a faith-based organization is assisting those in need in Saipan. I'm Don Sulet with the details.
The second annual Conferensyon Mañana on Chamoru language and revitalization is slated for Wednesday. Tonight, we speak to the Chamoru immersion education community on what to expect during this year's event. I'm Destiny Cruz-Langus with the story coming up.
You are watching KUAM, my friends. I'm Jason Salas, and we wish you and your family a happy day. Thanks so much for tuning in. These are your top stories. Well, our island is stepping up to the plate in the spirit of Inafamaulik to help families up in Tinian and Saipan unable to access clean water after the ravaging effects of Super Typhoon Senlaku. As our Matsuki Hirayama reports in tonight's top story, over 260 cases of water are now on their way to the Marianas, thanks to a community-led effort.
Instead of catching waves after Super Typhoon Senlaku, the Guahan Bodyboarders crew has been collecting water for Tinian and Saipan, where thousands of residents are unable to access clean water. On Tuesday, they made their way to Rev and Tax, where its Employees Association banded together to donate 261 cases of water. Banking and Insurance Commissioner Michelle Santos says she was inspired by her son, Chris Santos, the Vice President of GBI.
He said, "Mom, they're in the dark. Mom, they don't have water." So I came to her and I said, let's have our employees, get together and...
The donation drive is especially personal for Rev and Tax Association President Lisa Pokaigui.
I grew up in Saipan. I have a bunch of family who reside up there. My whole father's side is back from Saipan. So, I know how they live. I know how the water situation is back there. And, my thing was the best thing to do is donate water for now.
Now 4.5 pallets of water now on its way to the Marianas, thanks to the Azuda Foundation, Frank the Crank, and Cars Plus Guam.
I think at this point, our generation needs to step up, right? This is our time. Our brothers in Saipan and Tinian and Rota really need our help. So we're kind of the proof that if you just band together with your friends, all your friends, your resources, and take advantage of what you guys have, you can get some cool stuff done.
Cars Plus sales manager Mike Moffness encourages continued support as the need for clean water remains ongoing.
It just shows how much Inafamaulik we have here on the island, and what we have for brothers and sisters out there. Continue to support them. I know they still don't have water, they don't have power. GPA, I heard, is going out there really soon. So just come together, guys. This is the time for us to be together as one Marianas and do it for each other.
One upcoming opportunity for the community to make an impact.
If you can, we're having a fundraiser at 105 in Upper Tumon, and it's hosted by all of the surf associations, Lotus, everybody, Guam Skate Network. We all combine just to kind of raise money just to send over to Saipan. So that's this Thursday from 6 to 11 p.m. If you guys are not doing anything, got some raffle prizes to donate, come out.
And it goes without saying, these bodyboarders certainly don't plan to stop making waves anytime soon. Matsuki Hirayama.
One Marianas.
KUAM News.
That's what it's all about. Good job, boys, and everybody who donated. And you want to make sure to tune in tomorrow after prime time for a special episode of our show, The Hub. We've got an episode called Marianas Strong, where we highlight the community's incredible response after Super Typhoon Senlaku. That's tomorrow. Well, the Tier 2 shelter up at the Jigo Gym is set to close this Friday at 5 p.m., marking another milestone in Guam's recovery from Senlaku. Now, officials say the shelter has fulfilled its mission, providing a safe space for families displaced during and immediately after the typhoon, with residents being notified ahead of the closure and are receiving support as they transition out. Those include transportation assistance and connections to housing and community resources, with Acting Governor Josh Tenorio thanking the American Red Cross and partner agencies for helping operate the shelter, adding that while it is closing, recovery efforts will continue, especially for the island's most vulnerable. Mayor of Jigo, Francis Lazama, says the move signals progress as families begin to return home or move into temporary housing. The American Red Cross also emphasized while the shelter is closing, support services for families affected will remain in place as the recovery situation continues. And the People's Government has announced the closure of the Oka Point disaster debris site over in Tamuning as cleanup efforts following the typhoon move into the next phase. The site's going to officially shut down on Friday, May 1st at 6 p.m. with entry lines closing a half hour earlier, allowing final vehicles to pass through. Residents are encouraged to make their last trips before the deadline, and officials also remind the public that access to the site is at your own risk. So please bring proper footwear and appropriate clothing. They're strongly advised when disposing of the debris. Now, this marks a key step forward as the island transitions again from the response phase into the recovery phase. Public Health and Social Services continues its recovery efforts following Sinlaku with a food commodity distribution effort for families who are in need. The Division of Homelessness Assistance and Poverty Prevention will host a drive-through distribution on Wednesday the 29th, starting at 1 in the afternoon at the Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church Social Hall up in Jigo. Households impacted by the storm are encouraged to attend, with individuals asked to present identification and complete a brief form to confirm eligibility. Supplies are limited and will be distributed while available, with the effort aiming to provide families still recovering and facing food loss in the aftermath of the storm a relief. Now let's get to some health news, as the Department of Public Health and Social Services has confirmed 2 new cases of whooping cough on our island. This is key because it comes on the heels of Public Health confirming an outbreak of the illness on Guam, with the total number of cases now for the year at 13. Now, whooping cough is a vaccine-preventable disease and is highly contagious. It's a respiratory infection caused by bacteria, primarily spread by direct contact with discharge from the nose and throat of people that are infected. It can cause severe coughing fits for up to 10 weeks or more. That's 2.5 months, followed by a high-pitched whooping sound when breathing in, hence the name. Scientifically known as pertussis, it can lead to serious complications, especially in babies, with the community advised to protect ourselves and our loved ones by please getting vaccinated, practicing good hygiene, and seeking immediate care if you have symptoms. For an in-depth discussion on pertussis, you want to check out Destiny Cruz Langus's discussion with territory epidemiologist Patrick Soto. That aired last night in prime time, and it's streaming right now on YouTube. And if you want more information on vaccine availability in your village and the eligibility, check out KUAM.com. We've got the latest news from Washington now, as Guam Congressional Delegate Jim Moylan is calling on the Department of War's secretary to begin implementing the living quarters allowance for federal civilian employees on Guam, already approved under the 2026 National Defense Authorization Act. The provision is designed to extend housing benefits to local federal workers who were previously excluded, ensuring that they receive the same benefits as off-island hires. The delegate says timely implementation is critical as rising housing costs continue to impact recruitment, retention, and overall readiness. He says, quote, "My office has been contacted by numerous constituents seeking updates on the status of implementation, with these inquiries reflecting both the urgency of issue and real financial strain faced by federal employees awaiting clarity." The congressman also emphasized the allowance should be applied across all department services, not limited to just staffers of a Department of the Navy, saying a narrow rollout could undercut both fairness and effectiveness. The living quarters allowance, administered through the Defense Logistics Agency, helps cover housing costs like rent and utilities at overseas duty stations. Congressman Moylan says a swift and consistent rollout is key to supporting Guam's workforce and maintaining a strong federal presence on island. There are many more island news headlines coming up on the flip side of this break, so please stay tuned, everybody. This is Prime Time, and you're watching KUAM.
Guam is coming back, stronger every day. And this Mother's Day, it's time to celebrate her. Something beautiful, something that makes her smile, something just for her. Because Mom's gonna love this. Kmart Guam, right here with you.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Anything's possible.
College is possible. Retirement is possible. Adventure is possible. And so is saving for it all with our Bank Ohana Savings Special. Earn an interest rate of 3.15% for the first 90 days when you deposit $25,000 from another bank into a Bank Ohana Bonus Rate Savings Plus account. Requires a Bank Ohana checking account with an opening deposit of $500. So make your savings goals possible.
Anything's possible.
Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii.
Welcome back to Primetime, everybody. Once again, I'm Jason Salas. In regional headlines, a faith-based organization brought together a sense of community and fellowship through food to Saipan residents as recovery efforts continue. Here's KUAM's Don Sulat with more.
In partnership with Life in the Sun Saipan and a local restaurant, Operation Blessing provided warm meals and togetherness to Saipan residents. Operation Blessing is a faith-based global nonprofit organization that assists during natural disasters through faith-centered relief and development programs. What was supposed to be an assessment of the damages done to the island and to get a better grasp of what the Sinamay needs post-Typhoon Sinlaku turned into a time of fellowship and community. In an interview with KUAM, Chris, a video producer for the organization, recalled his experience in seeing the island community come together regardless of their faith, culture, or political beliefs.
I saw some houses who are offering free charging stations, there were people who are a little bit well off, not much damage in their homes, have generators, they're offering along the road, they're offering free charging stations, those kinds of things. And speaking of helping out, even some of the volunteers in the church are affected, but they came. Employees from the restaurant are affected. Their house, like one of them said, like her home was damaged or washed out even. She was there. She showed up.
This is Operation Blessing's second time in the region as the organization came to Guam in 2023 to assist with recovery efforts following the wake of Typhoon Mawar. Supervisor of Disaster Response Myla Malana and Life in the Sun Guam Worship Pastor Elmore De Rosas told KUAM that communication and planning efforts to assist the Sinamay were easier when compared to Mawar, as this time they have connections and contacts already established.
I asked my colleagues in the office, do you know somebody who lives in Guam or Saipan that we can communicate, that we can coordinate? And they asked their friend, their church mate, just to try and look for somebody.
In Sinlaku, probably there's contacts now, there's numbers that they could connect with, which person that they could be of help. So it's really a very memory and like a nice experience to see people, all kinds of background and leaders, community, to be there to help each other out.
Life in the Sun Guam's head pastor, Mark Benaventi, told KUAM that coordination between them and their sister church in Saipan are underway, with the plan being to assist with long-term restoration efforts.
There's a lot of food aid that's coming for the immediate need, but the long-term need is going to be rebuilding. And so we plan to be there for the long haul as well.
For KUAM News, I'm Don Sulat.
All right, Don, thanks so much. A very inspiring story there. All right, moving on in our rundown now. We got a milestone for Chamoru Emergent Education to tell you about with the second conference, or parental conference, set for Wednesday at the Guam Museum. Destiny Cruz Langus has more on what the community can expect from the event.
A
younger generation is breathing new life into the Chamoru language and culture at PC Lujan Elementary School's Fanidzakin Chamoru Immersion Program. But they aren't embarking on this journey alone, with teachers, staff, and parents all working together to preserve this heritage. And on Wednesday, at the second annual Conferencion Mañana, or Parent Conference, the intergenerational bond that the Chamorro language creates between parents and their children will be a main focus. Pika Farron, a Fanidzakin parent and president of the program's parent-teacher organization, on the importance of this collaborative effort.
It is a chance for all of the parents and their children to get together with the teachers and the staff and really just spend a day together, practicing Chamorro together, learning about what our kids are doing at school, and really just reigniting within each of our families as to why we've chosen to send our kids to Fanidzakin Chamoru.
The event, hosted by the Guam Department of Education Chamorro Studies and Special Projects Division's Programa Tiningo, in collaboration with Inet Non Mañana Fanidzakin Chamoru Incorporated, not only seeks to serve as a supportive space for Fanidzakin families, but for future ones too. Fauna Sands is a third-grade teacher in the program and the conference chairperson.
This is our second time doing it. So from our first time, we took the feedback of the participants last year, to make this year even better. And this event also is for prospective families. So trying to recruit more families into our program. And we just really wanted all the families to see, what does Fanidzakin look like, right? Like, what does it even mean to attend a Chamorro immersion school?
Meantime, a push for a dedicated school for the program continues, as Chamorro Studies Division Administrator and Fanidzakin Facilitator Senor Jimmy Teria says an updated resolution in support of Chamorro immersion education is underway by the Guam Education Board. And while they remain at the Barragata School for now, Teria says he welcomes the growth of the program.
We've announced our pre-K openings, so we're accepting anybody who's 4 years old after July 31st, who's already 4 years old, and then of course we've opened it to our kindergarten, so we're accepting kinder and pre-K, and if they're interested and they have some fluency in upper grades, we're taking in case-by-case families.
The conference is slated for Wednesday, April 29th at the Guam Museum from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Destiny Cruz Langus, KUAM News.
Well, speaking of the museum, interesting how Destiny just mentioned that, because a new exhibit is opening downtown and shedding light on the island's ongoing journey towards self-determination. The Commission on Decolonization and the Department of Chamorro Affairs are introducing Danginti Hitap Wes Hadzi, which in Guam's native tongue translates to, if not us, then who? The temporary exhibit takes visitors through a piece of the island's history from the period 1898 to today, exploring the Chamorro-led decolonization movement and the fight for self-determination here on the island. Now, through community-donated artifacts and works from local artists, the exhibit offers a powerful, personal look at the identity and resistance of the indigenous Chamorro people, with organizers say the goal is not just to inform, but to empower, encouraging residents and visitors alike to better understand their role in shaping our island's future. The exhibit's opening night is from May 2nd at 5 in the evening at the Guam Museum and features cultural performances, refreshments, and a chance to connect with local artists and community groups. The event's free and open to the community at large, with registration available online. You can find that link on a story right now at KUAM.com, so please hit that link. The exhibit runs through the end of May with free admission in the rotating gallery space.
Now for a look at your world at home.
There is really nothing in this world like the beautiful hospitality of our beaches down in the south, and here's a beautiful shot of a vista down in Hagen.
At GTA, everyone gets our best deals.
So my Niao's Primos Paris is your mom's second cousin's cousin through marriage.
Wow, we're basically like family.
So can I get the deal?
Of course, everyone gets our best deals.
My nana said to tell you she went to church with your auntie.
You look just like my friend's nephew's babysitter. Small island, right? Everyone gets $400 off when you sign up for a Live Unlimited plan.
Bring it in, cuz.
Even if we're not related.
Everyone has goals. Saying yes helps you get there.
Retirement, huh?
Yes. When is it your turn?
I'm working on it.
And well-deserved.
Could I be a truck guy?
Oh yeah, we totally see truck guy.
Can we really do that right now?
Yeah, wild, right?
Can we start that college fund?
Yes. Because yes is so much more than the answer to a question. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
The new Big Arch sauce is so delicious. You'll wonder if they named the sauce after the burger or the burger after the sauce. The Big Arch, the most McDonald's burger yet. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
My name is Ingrasha Talik. I am a prop, or I also play forward, any of the forwards, and I'm from Chalampago.
Very nice.
I'm Cadence Horton. I play any of the forwards, and I'm also a 9, and I'm from Jotnya.
Excellent. Okay, ladies, first of all, congratulations to you guys. I talked to Tasi before, and every time I interview athletes, I say you never truly know your teammates and probably yourself until you travel together, right? Yeah. Okay, so international competition is also a blessing. It's a responsibility. It's a big challenge. It's also an honor when you represent Guam, right? So tell me about the trip and how was that like?
So this trip, it was definitely different than other tours that I've been on for international tournaments. We got to play with other countries in one team. So we flew out there and then we had like a practice the day we got there, and then the next day was just game time. So we just met like right there on the spot, and even though we just met, our chemistry wasn't like too bad. It was surprisingly, we played well together. There were athletes from 8 other countries, and we all just brought different different skills.
Okay, well that's interesting because even though you basically you're all playing the same sport, you all essentially have the same training. Tempos can be different, like styles can be different, and paces and everything like that. Was that? Did you find anything different about the way, or did they say the things about you? It's like, wow, you Guam girls hit hard. Or
Yeah, definitely. I think for like Guam and the islands, we focus more on contact than, or not really focus more on it, but that's like what's in us. Like that's in our blood. We're built for contact. And I say like the Japanese girls, they're very like technique. They're fast. They're really good at kicking. Their passes are good. And even the Hong Kong girls. And I've seen that they've played professionally, so that was a very like interesting thing to see because I've never traveled for the union before, and this was my first tournament, and it was a very good experience.
That's interesting insight because I'm an old school volleyball player, right? And Japan is kind of like a little bit different, but in a really awesome way than the rest of the world because they say they work so much more on core. And they emphasize, how fast they can pivot, how fast they can turn, how fast they can backpedal, and it's more about like speed rather than just all upper body or how high can you jump and everything. So they have a very distinct way of playing. And the boys also tell me, as they said, we try and emphasize speed. Some guys are bigger than us and everything like that, but we really want you to remember that when you come across the line, when Guam hits you, you're going to remember that the next time you come.
Definitely.
Okay, and so you said same day when you guys got there, you guys went right into competition, or?
No, so right when we got there, we like changed and went straight to practice, and we got to just know each other a little bit more and distinguish our positions and who plays what and what we can offer to the team.
Okay, how was the climate though? Because we're used to breathing, like Guam air. It's a little bit thicker. We're used to the heat and everything like that. And like when your body's conditioned for that, how was it when you got over there? Was it?
It was definitely colder playing out there. It was nice though.
Could you go a little bit harder than you used to, or could you run longer or shorter?
I think breathing was way better, but it was just like when we were practicing, it was cold because it was in the mornings, but out on the field, it was like the perfect temperature. The sun was shining on the field, and it wasn't too hot.
Okay, so what do you take away from this experience, and now that you can come back and you can tell your fellow players here, or when you guys do clinics and help high schoolers or kids just picking it up and everything, what can you say about this is technique, and like when the way we're teaching you is the way that the best in the world play?
It was, to me, what I really took away from that was they add a little flick with their thumb, because I'm used to just flicking it with my back arm and with my leading arm, and they just hold it right at the top and they flick it, and I was like, wow, this really makes my ball the rotation is faster, and also for me, I felt like my passes were sharper. And it's definitely their stepping is really good. I tried to make one of my friends that I made out there. She tried to teach me to step. I tried definitely, but the level is just so different because one of our teammates, she's my age, we're 18, and she's been playing rugby for 12 years, which I was like, wow. Because now I know the middle schools start playing.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase. But if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying, it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it. Couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Celebrate Mom. Grant wishes. A Mother's Day gift that gives back. Make-A-Wish Guam and CNMI's Next Gen Board is launching a special fundraiser to help grant life-changing wishes for children battling critical illnesses. The Mother's Day Gift Basket fundraiser is being held in partnership with Blue and Bloom, LeMay's Bake Shop, and Guam Time. Each basket is $140 and includes a 5-inch decadent brownie cake from LeMay's Bake Shop, a bouquet of pink and white seasonal flowers from Blue and Bloom, and a special card designed by Make-A-Wish kid Robin and her mom. Proceeds will support Make-A-Wish Guam and CNMI's mission to bring hope, strength, and joy to children in our community. Orders are due by May 7th. Pickup is set for May 8th, 9th, and 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Docomo Pacific headquarters in Tamuning or Coast 360 Federal Credit Union in Mighty. To order, visit guamtime.net. For more information, visit wish.org/GuamCNMI.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific Better Together, Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas. I say it each and every night, everybody. It is my duty, honor, and privilege to bring you News Bites. That is a portion of the newscast where we show you the amazing events, the things to do, to see, the experience, to taste, to participate in that are happening all around our island, north to south, east to west. We cover it all right here in News Bites. And 20 years in the making, everybody. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming to the Micronesia Mall theaters. It's a special screening. You can be one of the very first people in our hemisphere to say you saw part 2 of the movie. That is, trust me, it's going to be all the talk of the town. And then we got Mortal Kombat 2 next week. But swipe, call, message, tap, click, do what you got to do to be part of this amazing experience. Do not be that person who gets left out of being the very first few people who watch this movie. And it goes to help the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce and the scholarship programs that they provide to young people looking to be the very best they can be. So we will see you there at the Micronesia Mall on Thursday. What else is coming up? You know what? The Pet Fest 1K run. Now this is I'm all about the 5Ks, right? I'm a sports guy. We have this amazing run for you and your pets, dogs and cats. You guys want to do a 1K? Super, super cool. Check it out. It's going to be at Ipoh Beach Park. The course there is super cool. You get to go all around the park. Shout out to our friends in the military who helped clean up the Ipoh Beach Park after the typhoon. And make sure to get yourself and your pet in, your dog or your cat, because you get this runner towel, which is super awesome. And Pet Fest is coming back. I cannot wait. That's always a good time. And the Run Walk for Autism was pushed back a little bit. You know, my friend Joe Blas over there and the autism community together, they always have this amazing opportunity. The autism community gathers and we have this incredible experience. And look at that dry fit shirt. Different is our superpower. I love it. So please make sure to register and then participate. Lots of ways you can do so. Scan the QR code, make sure you call, make sure you register. It's going to be down at Chamoru Village. We have stretching out first. We got, you know, the rock climb, the music, food, all sorts of good vibes down there. And then the run is absolutely incredible. You know what's also awesome? Tonight's birthday celebrant, singular. Let's get to that person.
We are all as an island community, an island family, celebrating the birth of Pauline Iriarte, born today on April 28, 1964. So happy birthday number 62 to the greatest mom and grandma. Your kids and grandkids are so proud of you and they have so much love. They made sure to emphasize this in your birthday shout out, Miss Pauline. So we hope you have a wonderful, happy, blessed, and incredible birthday today. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
That's the show, everybody. Have a pleasant Tuesday. Remember, share half a day to everybody. Say it for free. It means a lot. I'm Jason Salas. See you next time. Thanks for watching Health, Home, and Lifestyle right here on KUAM. Check us out anytime on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KUAM News, for all of our episodes about how you can live a happy and healthy island life. Oh, hi. Half a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and I'm here in the library. Welcome to Health, Home, and Lifestyle, where we show you how to live a happy and healthy island life. This is a place where knowledge is stored, archived, and shared, and that's exactly what we do here on the show each and every Tuesday right here on KUAM. We got a great show for you this week, so enjoy. Here's what we have for you today.
Half a day, everybody. We are finally back. I was on vacation for a couple of weeks, but I got my girls here. I got Liz Duenas, the one and only, from representing Tumon Bay during the typhoon. There, Liz, thank you for sending us the videos, and we're glad you and Uncle John up on essentially like the 9th floor of a very tall building. We're glad you guys fared well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then of course Gina Campos, all the way over in Pago Bay. That place got a lot of wind, Gina, and rain. So we're glad you did well too, and Leonard.
Oh yeah, always. Yeah, we always manage to, it passes us. So and you know what, Jason, we can't complain about, I mean, I know there are some families here who are hit hard, but generally speaking, comparison to our brothers and sisters in Saipan, this was a blessing for us.
Absolutely. Well, before we get to tonight's topic, let's go ahead and talk about that. So how has the real estate community, not just the agents, but the surveyors, the assessors, the people that are in title and everything like that, have you guys actually talked about doing something for people that were directly affected by the typhoon up in the NMI?
I think the Realtors Association, we're looking at pulling together an effort to help, and then collaborating with one of the other organizations. I know that there was some discussion on that on the board chat, and that we're going to meet and figure out what we need to do to help.
Absolutely. And our thoughts and prayers, of course, always go up to Tinian and Saipan, because we've all got friends, we've all got classmates, we've got a family up there too. I would assume that the insurance community is very, very busy up there, and it is going to be so for the next several weeks.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that being the case, we want to kind of like tie in
natural events of forces of nature, when Mother Nature has like storms for us and everything like that. Liz, we're going to talk about how this may affect a deal you're in the middle of or that you're putting together right now as far as your property.
That's right. So, for example, we had some buyers that were pending on a transaction. They looked at the property a few months ago and were about ready to close. So the past few days, we've been doing inspections of some of these properties that are already currently pending and ready to close their sale transaction. So the buyers actually want to go see the property and make sure that the property looks the way it did before the typhoon. So we've done this over many years during typhoons where we go back, and we've had situations where windows were broken after the typhoon, debris all over the yard, water leaks, all over the property. But this one inspection that I did over the weekend, the home was beautifully intact. The yard looked great. The only difference with the home was in the backyard, there was debris, which the owner, the seller, is going to haul away and make sure it doesn't sit on the property when they close a transaction. And then when we went through the house, the only water intrusion was wind-driven, which was through the front door, which of course didn't create any damage. And I think many of us on the island had wind-driven water seeping through windows and doors. But in that particular case, there was, I think, no other damage within the property. But in the past, I know we've had cases where the windows were broken, things flew away from the home, the roof on top of the carport was tin, and that got hauled away. So in those type cases, the seller would have to place the home in the condition it was before the typhoon, or unless a buyer comments that these items are okay, I can handle that. But it has to be a joint decision between the buyer and the seller. And if something was broken, the seller has replaced the window and done some repairs to bring it to the original condition when they first viewed the home.
And Gina, that is kind of the operative phrase right there, because the original condition that the property was in, when those discussions were being had for the transaction, right? Is this also an opportunity for a buyer to maybe get additional value off of this? Because, for all we know, like Liz was just saying, the roof of the carport may have been broken or ripped in two and everything like that. And now maybe the seller says, hey, I know a guy and everything. So instead of just replacing the carport, I actually put in a moonroof.
Jason, the things you think of, I would,
I'm an advertising major. I think that way.
Yeah. I would love to be your realtor when you get out there and buy a home, because it's going to be an exciting ride.
You both are going to do that deal when it's time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the terms of the contract it's really clear. And that's what Liz is trying to explain, that it absolutely says that between the time the contract is signed and the day the deed is transferred to the buyer, that the house has to remain in substantially the same condition. Now, could a buyer get an improvement? If the roof of a tin extension or carport or dirty kitchen is blown off, it has to be replaced. Based on the contract, because what the buyer saw when they signed the contract, you have to deliver the house in substantially the same condition. And so, yeah, that is a negotiating thing. Does it have to absolutely be replaced? If the buyer says it has to absolutely be replaced, then yeah, the seller's obligated to do that. And then let's shift a little bit and think about what our insurance companies are responsible for. For instance, we do a lot of property management services here at the office. So right now, some of the agents and all our property managers, we're out there inspecting properties. And when your paint on your home, like if you're in a transaction, which, like Liz, we're in a transaction, and the paint on the home has been substantially damaged, it's certainly not the same condition it was before the storm hit, that I've reached out to the owners and I've said, file a claim. File a claim because it does appear that much of the home, the exterior part of the home has to be repainted in order to return it to the same condition. Reach out to your insurance company and file that claim because this is what insurance coverage is for. And so there's a lot of instances where that's actually what we're doing is filing claims.
Okay, now if you've gone through, kind of like the dance of let's have the house formally inspected by a professional, and then as is the buyer's prerogative, the buyer can go back out there again. Do you see a lot of buyers taking like a second look and just saying, oh, I'd like to go check it out? Like, again, I already know I want to buy it, but I'd like to, just see what happened with the storm. Because you may be at the bottom of a hill or, I've kind of got some concerns about flooding. Or is that common, Liz?
It's common, and we're getting that a lot. And we're doing that actually right now. Taking the buyers. I have another inspection I'm scheduling. They want to see, what was done, what happened to the unit during a typhoon. The one I'm going to do probably in the next few days is the VKT condo. It's currently pending, and the buyer's off island, but their agent is going to come through and look at the property, video with the buyer, just to see, okay, here's the condition it is right now.
Is that the one that we did an episode from in that one time? I think it's on the fourth one. Okay, the Villa Cantatasi, beautiful place.
Yeah. So we're going to do a walkthrough and make sure the buyer's comfortable. And then we're going to ask some questions. And during the storm, what happened? Did water seep through? Where did it come from? And what other damage was incurred during the typhoon?
How about Gina? Because as realtors, you're responsible for the transaction of that property, like itself, right? What about like in the larger like scope of like a neighborhood, and say like a transformer was damaged, or there was some infrastructural concerns and everything like that? What if the buyer brings that up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, transformers, things, power lines, you can't control that. I mean, there's absolutely, it's going to happen. Mother Nature will do what it does, right? And so those type of things are beyond your control. But what if we're selling a unit and we know that every time there is a storm in that area, for whatever reason, that area will be out of water? Like I have a house that, we used to live in the Mighty area, and you think that's really central, but I know that there was a point in time before GWA resolved the issues when we lived there, when a storm hit, would be out of water for 2 to 3 months.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Okay, now let's talk about something else, because you ladies have shared with me privately over the years is that, those of us in media, when the winds finally subside and when we go back to Core 4, we'll start going out and we'll get, footage for the news and for social media of, the damage around our island. And, we go and talk to people about their storm experience. For those of you in property management, a lot of the times we're hardcore. You guys are out before we are. So talk about, like, as a property manager, what you have to do and, how you go and what you're looking for. Because Gina, you manage what, like dozens of properties?
We manage quite a few, and you're right. Even before the storm ended, we had to go out and check all the buildings to make sure they weren't flooded, to make sure that when they put us back into, readiness condition 1 and we could go to the office, that the employees can return. We were running around with our workers, putting fuel in all the generators for all the units, because some of them, you do try to call the people to fuel the generators in advance of the storm, but there's just so much activity that you have no guarantee that they did it. So the day before the storm was over, our people were running around checking the generators, checking the fuel level, making sure when the doors open that we were able to run. In our office, we actually just got power, I think, Sunday night. So we were running on generator for a whole week, getting the fuel and the generator people to come down. So you really have to have it. It's the people that you have to put in line that would help you with all of that, because a couple of people can't do it all. And then the other thing is, we forget when you put up these shutters, you've got to take them down. So you need people for that. It's a people business for sure.
Oh, and I'm old enough to remember that when whenever storms would come out here, like in the 90s when I was graduating from high school, my dad always made me go around the house with him with a big wooden, speaking of plywood, those big storm shutters that you would have to slot into the windows. And these days, right, Liz, it seems like the accordion shutters are kind of like the norm.
The accordion shutters are much more convenient because you can just pull it. I know we went to one of our rental units. John had to hammer because after many years sitting, those Typhoon shutters need WD-40. So he kept hammering to get the shutters to close.
Yeah.
But I think the harder one are the panels, because you have to slide them individually in, and then you have to bolt them in place so that the individual panels do not fly away.
And again, from a property management standpoint, not every property is the same. You may have a house that's at the top of a hill that's still really, really windy. You may be at the bottom of a valley. Liz just talked about Villa Contentasi. That's essentially in a high rise. So you guys have to be a multi-tool asset, essentially.
You should have heard the shutters. It sounded like all through the typhoon and even the day after, like a freight train was going by, because it was just rattling constantly. But I got to share. Gina was sharing that Leonard bought this foam, and I think we should buy some of that foam at Home Depot, Gina, where he sealed certain areas.
Gina, that's a Flex Seal?
I don't know.
It's the Flex Seal.
Oh, I got Flex Seal too. I loaded up on that.
So our upstairs, at the last typhoon, our upstairs door actually came off. It was that bad. And our roof here, it creates an area where if it rains long enough, we actually can swim upstairs. And so all of that water came through, it came down our stairwell, and it completely flooded our office. So this time, and we've replaced the door, of course, but this time what he did was, not wanting to take any chances, we sealed the door with that foam, that Flex foam. But Jason, he had to hammer it, and he actually used a saw. So he hammered parts of it to take it off, and then he used a saw to cut the rest of it away. It's a metal door, so no problems there, but we didn't realize how tight that grip was. And when you shoot the foam, it gets underneath the door and it comes up on the other side. And I guess that's what's creating the seal. So to get that thing open, I was like, wow, this is incredible.
There you go. The stories you guys could tell. And let's wrap up with this, ladies, because again, and we do. I mean, we're talking about this now, and we're Monday morning quarterbacking this, right? But of course, our thoughts, our prayers, our love, our support, and our always, like, whatever we can do for Tinian and Saipan, like, and Chuk, we're always going to do that. And so please keep me informed about, like, what the association does. But given the fact that you two have more than 60 years of combined real estate experience in this market, and you guys go all the way back to like the 90s, what is the storm that you remember most about the work that you guys had to do as realtors, as far as, assessing damage or getting properties ready, or, literally weathering a storm?
Well, Pang Sanwa was one of those that I think our building was the only one in Tumon that had a generator running, and we had people coming to do their wash. And we even had air conditioning. It was sad that when we looked out on Tumon, hotels looked like a bomb hit them. I remembered where Jamaican Grill is right now. All the guts were hanging out. You remember that? And when I was a kid, the one I remember most was Typhoon Karen, because we were sleeping under the bed of my parents. They were protecting us and shielding us, but having us sleep under the bed. And we were in a Quonset hut at that time. And the only damage we had, luckily, was just a coconut tree that hit the house, but that was it.
Yeah, Typhoon Karen, 1962, passed the southern end of Guam with 170 mile per hour winds.
Yeah. But
Wow.
Kangsenwa, after that, I think that's the one where it looked like a bomb hit the hotels and other buildings because all the insides were just hanging outside the windows.
Yeah, Gina, mine was Super Typhoon Paka because that was in the late 90s, and I just remember that was the first time a tree actually fell and it actually hit our A-frame at my parents' house and everything, and it actually cracked the A-frame. That was the first time we ever had structural damage to our house, and that was scary.
Yeah, for me it was Chataan. Remember that year? What
Very,
year
very
was
wet.
that? Yeah, we had that year where we had two typhoons. One hit us in July, one hit us, I think, in December.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that year we were basically barbecuing our turkey on the grill because we didn't have water and power through that whole month of December. And so, yeah, it was an experience. But you know what? It's these little things that make us so resilient. We can really figure anything out at this point, can't we?
I
It's the
remember being
younger
on
people
Fujita
that
Road
haven't lived through it.
after Typhoon Chataan. Fujita Road was underwater.
Yeah. I mean, but we
you
managed to survive.
Yeah, but Guam is so resilient that people help each other and they make things happen to clear the roads, or help in the neighborhood. If this sort of typhoon happened in the States, at least we have the wherewithal to survive.
Yep.
Over there, I'm sure it'd be way different.
Okay, final topic, Gina. We get a bonus topic there. A lot of people that move to Guam or people that are, buying their first home and they're young people and everything, there's they're like, can I just build like a tree house or a wooden house? Or can I just buy? This is the reason why we have Guam's building code because, your winds have to be, the tempered glass to be able to withstand a certain wind speed and you want a concrete structure, right? This is why we have our code the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like people who live in areas that experience tornadoes. They're essentially the same thing, but in a drier version. So we have the hardship of all the rain and the wind. And so yeah, I mean, but I think a lot of people, if they could build concrete, they would. It isn't a matter of right now it's about cost and affordability, but for most people, absolutely, if you could build concrete, do the concrete. And that leads me to a topic that I want to go over. During Mawar, I found out that people that are on the land for the landless, people that are leasing, are under that program, leasing through Chamoru Land Trust. I actually found out during Mawar that if you were under one of those leasehold properties, that the Chamoru Land Trust does not allow you to build concrete homes on those lots. I don't know why, but they changed the regulation and I don't know when it changed. And so during that period, when people were able to apply for the SBA loans to rebuild their structure that was destroyed, they were then told that they could not utilize SBA because SBA only allows concrete structures to be built with their funds, but Chamoru Land Trust requires that you only build wood and tin. I don't understand that concept, and I'm glad this storm was not as bad, so these families don't have to go through that again. But it is something that I think the legislature, maybe if the Association of Realtors can investigate this and bring it up to the people of the legislature, talk to the people at Chamoru Land Trust. It shouldn't be the case. I mean, I just don't understand why that is a requirement in their lease. These families certainly can't afford, every time there's a storm like this, they're bagging up all their things and going to a family member's home to be safe, and then they're sitting there praying that their home doesn't blow away. I don't get it.
There is the key word right there, because Liz, as you said, so effectively, we've got the resiliency of our people, we've got the great infrastructure that we have here, but the one thing that we do have too is that our Blessed Mother, who is over each of your shoulders and everything, and Satanri and Kamalin is watching over us. Ask any priest or any pastor. Our Blessed Mother is always protecting us.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
All right, well, ladies, thank you so much, and I'm glad you guys fared well during the storm, and blessings to you and your families.
Thank you.
You too, Jason. Thank you.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Clara Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's a time to bring our attention to something that often lives in silence. This conversation can be especially difficult here in Guam, but also incredibly important. Because sexual assault is not just something that happens somewhere else. It happens here, and it affects people we know, love, and care about. Sexual assault is more common than many people realize. Across the United States, about 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. But in island communities, including Guam and the broader Pacific, studies and local reports have shown that rates can be even higher, particularly for women. Many cases here go unreported due to fear of judgment or stigma, close-knit family and social ties, concerns about privacy, or not wanting to disrupt relationships. Local organizations like Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence and victims advocates reaching out have shared that a significant portion of survivors know their attacker, which adds another layer of complexity and silence. So while statistics give us a glimpse, the reality is the true numbers are likely much, much higher. The impact of sexual assault goes far beyond the moment itself. It can affect mental health, leading to anxiety, depression, or PTSD, physical health through chronic stress, sleep disruption, tension throughout the body, emotional well-being impacting trust,